With the Gate 21, we learned that the tribe comes first and also that their needs for bonds, resources, and safety are paramount. And that strong leadership is needed to secure the resources for the people. And if the people trust the control, then the tribe will probably stay together and be better, because when the people see the value in a leader who not only takes control but also provides the necessities of life, the leader is afforded the respect and trust that is needed. And if that happens, balance is restored and the tribe can live in unity. When the Gate 51 enters, we move away from the tribe and into the space of the self, where if we decide to, we can step into the abyss in a quest to find something more, something bigger than our mundane experience, something that might shatter our whole existence, where we can never look at the world around us the same again. Hi, this is Denise Matthew, and welcome to episode 14 of the Mandala of Life, the Gate 51, called Shock, and also the Arousing. And if you haven't already, please make sure to check out our previous episodes of the Mandala of Life, 365 Days to Self-Discovery. For now, let's move into a new energy, one that's all about the self, competition, and the need to be unique and in some way different. This is all about spontaneously braving the unknown to find out what it all means, which sometimes can lead to enlightenment and other times lead to nothing at all. Such is the nature of a mystical experience, that either happens or it doesn't. There is never a guarantee. When we move from the tribal ego or will center, we enter into a new area that is purely individual. The Gate 51 is part of the centering circuit, which is considered the place that centers the individual to be able to survive in the world. And even though it's considered a minor circuit, it has tremendous influence on the other circuits, in that it draws people into your individuality and the empowerment of the self. As with all individual energies, the general theme for the Gate 51 is all about being empowered in being you. This is where there's a kind of seeking for the mystical, for something beyond the mundaneness of the tribe, and it's about finding something that hasn't been discovered before. Since there's melancholy in all individual energy, the Gate 51 is no different. Here, the melancholy is all about living an ordinary life, because deep within is a longing for something so amazing that it's almost difficult to even imagine it happening. There can be a belief that beyond everyday life is something more, and this belief can lead to a search for the mystical. But when life shows up every day with the same old story, that's when the melancholy can show up too. Here is the spirit and energy for mutation and change. So being in the mundane world where everything is the same day in and day out can leave an ache inside of you that grows daily. There can be a wanting to break through into something else, to open the door to beyond. This melancholy can lead to experimentation with mood and mind-altering substances and potentially risky practices, all in the quest to get that new experience that you want. And this can be especially pronounced when you have a hanging Gate 51 or only a half of the channel 5125. But what's important to remember with this energy is that when we least expect it, the mystical shows up. It's in the times when we're being ourselves, being receptive to what shows up, and when we're being creative, that magic can happen. It means that when something that you would never have expected shows up in your reality, you're never quite the same again. Creativity is always the great awakener, and when we let it flow through us and also be open and receptive to the proverbial muse in the ethers, that is when we have the potential to experience life in a way that we might never have even imagined. Found within this energy is a chemistry and need to be awake, and nestled within the tribe, the Gate 51 is not like the others. Where all other energies seek abundance and resources for the tribe, the Gate 51 says, I do what I do for me. And yet its position alone makes it difficult to leave the power of the tribe, like the Gate 21 and the control and the power that enforces the rules. Or the Gate 40 that's all about the power to do the work and maintain the traditions and support the tribe. Or even the Gate 26 that has the power to sell the ideas that will bring abundance to the tribe. It's always about the tribe and not the individual. So within all that tribal energy is the voice of the 51 that wants to be heard and to break away from the control of the tribe, to find something beyond what the tribe embodies. This can mean that there can be a feeling of wanting to leave something behind, to walk away from the constraints, whatever they are, to search for that imagined mystical experience. When we talk about the Gate 51 and the need for excitement, we get into the shock perspective of this energy, which can show up in many ways. It can be about shocking people to get their reaction, to liven things up, or jumping without thought into something that promises a thrill, yet not taking into consideration what the consequences might be beyond the moment of release. Because the will center is not an awareness center. So this can be an action without a motive other than you want to jump into the fray of life. Many times this need for excitement can become recklessness, where you're willing to push the envelope, to step to the edge of reason, to fill that emptiness of being ordinary. And there could be a potential to wish for an exciting life, a life that everyone else seems to be living except for you. And there can be a sense of envy at how everyone seems to have thrilling adventures except for you. Here can be a deep competitiveness and a need to be first, and people might even feel that aura of competitiveness about you, especially if you have a defined will center. This is the energy of a spiritual warrior who goes into battle with their eyes wide open. Or someone who rushes into things without thought and sometimes wish you hadn't done it at all. The difference between the two is all in the timing and respecting your inner authority. The interesting thing about being first here is it's not always about being the best. It can be just about stepping on paths that have never been tread before. And sometimes the urge to seek the undiscovered might be lodged in your heart, and yet you hold yourself back from actually going on the adventure that you seek because you know that there is always a price to pay when you seek enlightenment. Sometimes you reason that it's people, a job, or a way of life that holds you back. Yet even so, you still want to jump into the abyss, to embrace the disorder of not knowing the outcome. But most times, it remains just energy, and it never becomes more than just a dream. The key here is to always enter the experiences of the new correctly, based on your own personal authority. And if you do, the opportunity to transcend the mundane for the blink of an eye, to find an empowered love of the self, can bear fruit. The energy of the Gate 51 is important because it is the energy that seeks the new, so you can bring it back to the tribe. It's all in the nature of the individual mutation, where if you do achieve something mystical, you go back to the tribe, and in doing so, you inject the mutation into the people, one at a time. It's how evolution happens. Without your hunger for something new, your need to satisfy your own desires and purposes for a magical experience, the tribe will not receive the mutation that will propel its evolution. Because if you jump into the abyss without acknowledging your strategy and authority, it might actually leave you shattered by the experience. Excitement for excitement's sake can be a dangerous game, but when you embrace who you are and walk the path that the universe shows you, there can be potential to have a moment of awakening, one that completely reconfigures your view of the world, leaving you with a new insight into the nature of being alive. And with this new insight is the potential to truly embrace life and all it entails, and to see your incarnation as a gift, not a curse. Something else to keep in mind is that even if you do experience some form of awakening, the Gate 51 is part of the channel 2551, or the channel of initiation, which is projected energy. So for you to give others a glimpse into what you have discovered, recognition or an invitation works best. And when you receive that recognition, it's like you get powered up and you can initiate someone into something new and mutative and share the story of your awakening in the most powerful and life-changing way for those who are lucky enough to hear what you have to say. And though there may be frustration in waiting, always remember that your aura speaks. And when you allow it to do just that, the right people will recognize you and want to hear what you have to say. From a global perspective, this energy is all about individual spirituality, a concept that is strong enough to penetrate the tribe, and something that's different than anything we've ever heard about before. Ra Uru stated that this energy talks to the idea that every person has a right to be awake and to have peace. Creative individuality mutates love, and it connects to universal love. And it starts when we love who we are, and by doing so, we empower ourselves, and this empowerment spreads to others. This energy is all about being at peace with being alive. By seeing the inherent beauty in being a human, you have the potential to see the beauty of life, and that being here and your reason for existing is all about allowing life to look after you. There is no battle when you surrender to what the universe wants to give you. And the truest expression of this energy is a concept that the shock that occurs heralds in something new, where we can move into a fresh space, and also to see that the old was a portal, a doorway, a way for us to break through into the next story of humanity. And once again, the Mandala of Life spins, and we learn that after the individual has experienced an awakening, for evolution to happen, the mutation must be injected into the group to bring a unified spiritualism. And it's all about empowered self-love. And when that happens, the gate 42 enters, and we close an old cycle and make ready for a brand new one. Here, there is potential for us to grow and to mature after the completion, and to also remember that only in an ending can we prepare the soil of life for the new seeds of humanity. Well, that's all for now, and I'll be back next week with another episode, The Gate 42, The Gate of Increase. Until then, take care, and I'll see you again soon.